Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Fantastic. I've got a great guest coming up, Kevin Begos. He's the author of Tasting the Past. It's a book about wine and grapes and, you know, all the historic stuff that you need to know about that. So
Nice.
I think it'll be kind of interesting because I know there are people that have been drinking wine for a long, long time, and he's going to kind of talk about where those flavors and different things come from. So kind of interested to chat. Sarah Jessica Parker is our quote for today. You know who that is?
Yes, I do.
She says, "The firsts go away, the first love, first kiss, first baby. You have to create new ones." I like that. That's true.
Create new babies?
There you go. Yes. Create new firsts, I think is what she means. So it'd be like the first time I kiss you today. Huh? See? Like that. Gonna sneak over there and do that. She's my wife. I can. Not Sarah Jessica Parker. Heidi. Want to make sure I clear that up. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
If you're a business owner trying to do your own website, maybe it's time to get help. Or if you don't even have a website, it's definitely time for help. It's 2018. This internet thing is here to stay. At 49bydesign.com, we offer a simple plan to get you online for just $49 a month with no setup fee. This includes a website with the hosting and domain name included in the price. We have larger packages available, but this will get you online so people can find you in 2018. We're affordable by design at 49bydesign.com. That's 49bydesign.com.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It is Friday, the 6th day of July. There's only one thing on the list for today. Usually there's a big, long list. Today is National Fried Chicken Day. It's the only thing on the list. Also, it is the day my brother was born. My brother Jason was born on this day in 1972. So I don't know how
Nice.
old he is, but if you do the math, what
You
would
know
that
what?
make
I
him?
couldn't tell you the last time I had fried chicken.
46. That's how old my brother would be this year. So, or he is. He's still with us. So he is 46. The way I just said that, it made it sound like he wasn't with us. Last time you had fried chicken, I think, well, you had broasted chicken. Does that count?
It doesn't. Because
What do you
fried
mean it
chicken and
doesn't?
broasted chicken are two different kinds of
I suppose
of
grilled
prep.
chicken is different too.
It is. So it's been a
Well-
long, long time since I've had.
Today is the day, Heidi.
My mom makes the best fried chicken. We should go see my mom and say, hey, make me some chicken. It's chicken day.
It's National Fried Chicken Day. You have to. It's the law. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All-American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-818-3967. 800-818-3967. That's 800-818-3967. Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
John and Heidi.
Coming up, we've got your brain on drugs. But first, cannabis historian from the UK claims that Jesus used marijuana to perform the miracles listed in the Bible.
Yeah, I don't think so.
First of all, let's just talk about this. Not going to sweep this one under the rug. Cannabis historian? What is that? Is that just a
Right.
dude that lives on his grandma's couch? What do you do for a living? Man, I'm a cannabis historian. Can you grab me that blanket? I don't understand what a cannabis historian is, but he's from the UK, and he claims that Jesus used marijuana to perform the miracles listed in the Bible. Mm-hmm. Okay, dude, do you know other people that are using cannabis today? Can they perform any of these miracles? Turn some water into wine. I mean, if you've had enough cannabis, you might think you did. But I don't think anybody else is going to write the account down.
I
and
think the ones he's referring to is like, you know, help the blind man see. So like if it were glaucoma, then I suppose perhaps cannabis could have helped.
I'm pretty sure
but
they
I
would.
really don't think that that's what Jesus was doing.
Pretty sure that would have
Although
been
he did
listed in
have
there.
the sandals. I mean,
Which he just hung out with a lot of other dudes. Sat around talking a lot. No.
about really deep stuff.
Yeah. No,
You know?
I'm still not on board. If you want to know more, I do have a link to this amazing story. There's a link in the show notes at johnandheidishow.com.
John and Heidi.
This time of year, there are many parties, weddings, cookouts, and other events that often include alcohol. If you're drinking, be sure to have a designated driver. If you or someone you know has a problem with drugs or alcohol, there is help. The Addiction Hope and Helpline wants to help. If you feel like it's time to finally get the help you need, there's a toll-free number you can call, 1-800-438-0380. That's the Addiction Hope and Helpline, 1-800-438-0380, 1-800-438-0380.
And this is your brain on drugs. An Indiana man was arrested after he was found naked in a backyard in Kentucky, and he allegedly was attempting to start a fire, and he claimed that he, quote, may be Jesus, end quote. This is the second story that Jesus has been involved in today.
It is.
I'm a fan of Jesus. I'm a believer in Jesus, but quit bringing him into the negative stuff, folks.
Got Jesus blasphemy on the John and Heidi Show today.
No blasphemy. I'm just reading the stories here. 31-year-old Anthony Michael Johnson was arrested in Johnson Fork, where he was reportedly naked, laying in the grass. Originally, he would not give deputies his name, but then he said, oh, it might be Jesus. Anyway, they said he was behind a residence, had poured gasoline around the house, then grabbed a service wire that provided electricity to an outbuilding and was trying to start the fire. He was charged with third-degree burglary, first-degree indecent exposure, first offense, third-degree criminal trespassing, second-degree criminal mischief, and giving an officer a false identification, and public intoxication.
Well, there you go.
So all of those things going on, and you're still not Jesus, dude.
No, well, if he was, he wouldn't be trying to start a fire. He would have been able to start that fire.
Jesus wouldn't have started a fire, just so you know.
But, I mean, if he wanted to.
But I don't think he would have.
He wouldn't fail. I'm just saying.
Pretty sure that's not what his motive was. He said to love one another, not to burn one another. Just so you know. Thanks
Maybe
for listening.
he was cold. He had no clothes on. He might have needed that fire for warmth.
Can we move on now? Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. Now, big screen, little screen, Gone with the Wind actress Olivier de Havilland turned 102 over this last weekend, and she has now outlived the rest of the cast. So that's pretty cool. 102. I don't think I'm going to probably make it to 102. I don't take care of myself nearly well enough.
If you watch that whole movie, you feel like you're 102.
It is a long movie.
That thing is ridiculous.
It's a long, long movie, yeah.
I just
years
fast
young.
forwarded to the end.
He was like, so what happened? Oh, that's what happened. Okay. Next movie, please. TV critics say The Bachelorette star Rebecca is taking a back seat to all the bad boys who are hogging her screen time. I don't watch The Bachelorette or The Bachelor or any of those shows. Now, if you do watch those, maybe that's a big deal. I don't know. Roseanne is back in the news because she says, I have had several TV offers since my show has been canceled. So she just wants to let people know that not everybody is upset with her. As a matter of fact, she had just got an email from Netflix, all the TV she wants to watch for $9 a month. So, oh wait, that's not the. Is that even how much it is?
I don't know.
I think it's $8. I don't know. Either way, it was just a joke. We're moving on. This has been Big Screen, Little Screen.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go. And pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-719-5601. 800-719-5601. That's 800-719-5601.
Now, your scoop of the day brought to you by 80sinthesand.com. If you keep your bathing suit body, if you want to keep that fit and fiddle and looking good, you're supposed to maybe avoid the county fair this year. Definitely avoid the food there, at least. There's almost no healthy fair food, and the worst is the funnel cake. They say 8.3 ounces of cake there contains 760 calories. That's a lot. Also, 44 grams of fat, 80 grams of carbs, and 20 mgs of cholesterol.
Milligrams.
Milligram?
Do you really think there was anybody anywhere who thought fair food was healthy? I mean,
I
really,
so.
I don't think anybody was confused by it.
Have you ever had like the deep fried Twinkie on a stick?
No, I have not.
That's pretty good. I was like, well, I wanted to order a Caesar salad on a stick, but you don't have that. So you have to go with the
what else
Twinkie.
is on a stick?
I'll go with a Twinkie. I just need it on a stick, and I need it fried. And I need it now. A dog that fell into a manhole in China was eventually rescued after, listen to this, smart dog. chewed through some cables to knock out the neighborhood internet service. He was down there, was barking, nobody was noticing. He's like, got an idea.
Turn off your Wi-Fi.
I'm going to turn off your internet so you hear me. So he chewed through the internet service. The workers then looked down and were like, I found it. There's a bunch of cables that are chewed up. There's a very angry dog. Well, they were able to save him. That was in China. That's a cool story. Study reveals only 6 in 10 commuters would give up their seat for an expectant mother. Of those who won't give up the seat, 1 in 4 say in case she wasn't actually really expecting a child.
Oh, my gosh.
So there's some that are like, she's just a fat lady that wanted to sit down. She's not really an expectant mother.
Oh, my gosh.
So 1 in 4 said that. But 6 in 10 said, no, I wouldn't give up my seat.
6 in 10 is
I would
all...
give up my seat.
Well,
I absolutely would. I give up my seat to people all the time. Not commuting necessarily, but if I'm somewhere and there's people sitting around, I'll get up. Hey, you can sit here. I just think that's the right thing to do. But I've seen other people where they don't do that, and I'm thinking, man, move.
I do for elderly people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know, people that look like they're having a hard time standing, things like that. I absolutely would.
I think it's the right thing
I wouldn't
to
just
do.
for some person who came in.
Would you like to sit here? You're very handsome. You should sit here on my lap right here, big boy. You'd do that for, what's the guy's name that you're
Brian
like?
Regan?
Yeah, well, him, but what's that actor we were just talking about? He's in Couples
Vince
Retreat.
Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn. She would, she would say,
I
Vince,
would
you need a
climb
seat.
him.
You need to sit right here, big boy. A couple of different guys that my wife is attracted to. Concerns me. They look nothing like me. Nothing. At all like me. And I've never noticed that you've been even remotely fond of Kevin James, who many people say looks just like me. I've never seen him on screen and you go, wow, what a stud. Just saying. It's a little thing I noticed here. I'm not sure how I noticed that. A mass mall broke out during I'm sorry, let's try that again. A mass brawl. I said a mass mall. That didn't make any sense. A mass brawl broke out during a wedding in India. The brawl amongst the family members started when the bride decided to call off the ceremony. The bride's decision came after the groom began, quote, behaving in a strange manner when lightning struck a nearby field during some of the wedding vows. 3 of the bride's relatives were arrested. It got pretty heated. So there was lightning that struck a field.
And then he started acting weird?
He was acting kind of weird, and then she's like, I just don't think I want to get married to you.
Well, I don't blame her.
So I don't know what happened exactly or what was going on.
If he was acting weird just because there was some lightning, imagine what he's going to be like later on. Good Lord.
I don't know. I just think that it's a bizarre story all around.
Run away.
Well, that's what happened. There was a big, massive mall that happened. I don't know if you heard that. But,
I heard that.
It was a brawl. That's what it was. That's going to do it for today's Scoop of the Day, brought to you by 80sinthesand.com.
John and Heidi.
Do you have ideas for t-shirt designs, but you don't have a clue how to print them? Or maybe you'd like to have t-shirts and coffee mugs available to buy online with your business logo printed on them. There's a website that makes it easy. We set ours up in about 10 minutes. There's no sign-up fee, no minimum orders, no monthly fees. It's just a really easy way to put some cool items online for sale, and you get paid every time somebody buys them. You don't have to print or ship anything. Just sign up, upload your designs, and then let people know where they can get your cool stuff. More details available at radiosavings.com. That's radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We have a special guest joining us today, Kevin Begos. He's the author of Tasting the Past, The Science of Flavor and the Search for the Origins of Wine. Kevin, this is a fun topic. There are a lot of folks out there that are big fans of wine, and there are a lot of different varieties of wine. So when you're looking for the origins of wine, it goes back a long ways, doesn't it?
Yes, John, at least 8,000 years, probably originated in the Caucasus Mountains, which is Armenia, Georgia, eastern Turkey, and then it spread down through the Holy Land and Egypt and across the Mediterranean.
And this is something that, wine is talked about in the Bible, so it's, from way back a long, long time ago. But today, the wine that people drink today, is it pretty much the same as it was back then, or is it quite a bit different?
No, very different. I was surprised to learn that all the famous grapes, we know Chardonnay, Merlot, Pinot, all those, really only came into existence the last few hundred or maybe a couple of thousand years ago. There were hundreds of other grape varieties in the ancient world, some of which are lost to time. And they made them differently. They made them in clay pots, not in stainless steel, of course, but not in barrels either. They didn't have barrels in the ancient world.
So when you look at the way they made the wine back then, could we make wine like that today? And if we made it like that today, do you think people would even drink it?
Surprisingly, there's a trend back toward making wine in that very simple, ancient way. There's even a man in Oregon who makes those big clay pots, and people in France and Italy and the Republic of Georgia are going back to that. And it can make wonderful wine. It tastes different, but almost kind of like unfiltered apple cider, much more flavorful and cloudy and a little different tasting.
And the name of the book, again, is called Tasting the Past, The Science of Flavor and the Search for the Origins of Wine. Now I'm going to focus on one word in there, science. Usually when people are tipping back a glass of wine, they're not thinking about science. But when you guys started looking into this, you were looking at the DNA of grapes. What does a DNA of a grape have to do with wine? I assume it probably has a lot to do, doesn't it?
Yes. It turns out grapes have much more DNA that can help them express all these great flavors and aromas. They're just genetically geared toward doing that. And scientists are using the DNA analysis just like you would use it to trace your family history. You can see who the parents were of the grapes going back thousands of years and how they migrated across the world. So it's kind of just a genealogy tool, but also a way to pinpoint exactly where the flavors and the aromas are coming from.
So as we look at historic wines from back, 8,000 years ago, or even stuff just, only 2,000 years ago, I make it sound like that's so recent. How different would you say that is? Is there anything today that we're drinking that's even remotely close to that?
Some of the wines from the Republic of Georgia are made in a very ancient style. And the interesting thing is, a lot of people ask me what kind of wine would people drink during the time of Jesus. And the answer is they had all different sorts of wine, just like today. The poor drank the simpler wine. The rich people had flavored wine and the best aged wine. The Egyptian kings buried wine with them in their tombs. So just like today, there were all different varieties. Some sweet, some drier, some higher alcohol, some lower alcohol. People were just like us in some ways.
Well, and as the story goes, that was the first miracle that Jesus performed, was turning water into wine. And it was, in the story, they say, the best wine. They don't usually keep the best wine for the end. So apparently he was a good winemaker.
Yes. Yes.
What was the most interesting thing that you discovered as you were looking for the origins of wine? Were there things that really surprised you as you started checking into this?
I was surprised how the wine traditions go back so far. The Egyptians, even 3,000 or 4,000 or 5,000 years ago, they actually named the vineyard supervisors and the quality of wine, and they had little stamps on the containers to document the taxes that were paid and where it was imported or exported to. So a lot of these laws we have, even laws about underage drinking, go back to Plato and the ancient Greeks. They talked about that people under 18, shouldn't really drink much wine.
Well, that's amazing. Well, I'm a fan of history, and my wife is a fan of wine, so between the two of us, we'll be a big fan of this book.
John, it's great.
Thank you again for taking the time to chat with me.
Thank you, John. Bye-bye.
Again, Kevin Begos is the author of Tasting the Past, The Science of Flavor and the Search for the Origins of Wine. It's available right now, and I'm going to make it easy to find. I'll throw a link in our show notes page at johnandheidishow.com.
If you're a business owner, you should consider using radio. Radio is a powerful tool. Over 90% of us listen to the radio each week. Imagine if this ad was talking about your business, helping you hit your goals. We can help. We can also create a fun jingle, too, to get people singing your song. When you put words to music, they're 9 times more memorable, and that makes radio work even better. Learn more at RadioReallyWorks.com. Radio jingles to help you get better results with the money you're already spending. RadioReallyWorks.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
First of all, what color is a poppy? What color would you say a poppy is?
It's like a reddish orange.
They're beautiful, aren't they?
They're beautiful.
So here's you go. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
A Welsh poppy is yellow.
Really?
Yeah. So if you see a yellow poppy, it's not like a sick poppy. It's a Welsh poppy.
Alrighty.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
A Himalayan poppy is blue.
Really?
So if you see a blue poppy, it's not sad. It's just a Himalayan poppy.
Huh.
I didn't know there were different varieties.
I've seen other colored poppies.
I've never seen them.
But I didn't realize they were.
Never seen them. They're different. They're just from a different country. They're, So they're undocumented poppies or something. And our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
There's a guy by the name of Bob Flowerdew. So with the name Flowerdew, what would you think you would do for a living?
You'd be a florist?
Or a gardener. He is an organic gardener. And he's almost as famous for his long blonde hair as he is for his books. He's got Going Organic and The Gourmet Gardener and the regular appearances on BBC's Radio Gardener Question Time. But he's almost as famous for his long blonde hair as he is for all of that other stuff.
Huh.
I think his last name is pretty cool. Bob Flowerdew, and he's a gardener. It's a good name for a gardener. And this has been a couple of fun facts on the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
If you're a business owner trying to do your own website, maybe it's time to get help. Or if you don't even have a website, it's definitely time for help. It's 2018. This internet thing is here to stay. At 49bydesign.com, we offer a simple plan to get you online for just $49 a month with no setup fee. This includes a website with the hosting and domain name included in the price. We have larger packages available, but this will get you online so people can find you in 2018. We're affordable by design at 49bydesign.com. That's 49bydesign.com.
John and Heidi.
Now your grandiloquent word of the day. Today's word, bedlam. Have you heard the word bedlam before? I think
I
I've heard
have.
this. What do you think bedlam is?
I don't know what it is, but I've heard it.
Bedlam is a lunatic or a madman. Oh, that's why people keep calling me that. You bedlam. An asylum for the insane is also a bedlam. And a scene of uproar and confusion is also a bedlam. So the
Alrighty.
scene or the place they live or just the person themselves, so it's three different things, is bedlam. B-E-D-L-A-M. Bedlam. I'm trying to think of where I've heard that before. Is that the title of a movie or a book or a song or something?
I
Is there
don't know.
bedlam? I'm going to have to Google it, I suppose. I'll use the sentence and see what happens here. The poorly planned company picnic was an absolute bedlam. Today's grandiloquent word, bedlam. It's kind of a fun one to say, really.
It is.
You try.
Bedlam.
Yeah, sounds good coming from you. I like it a lot. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. This has been today's grandiloquent word.
John and Heidi.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go. And pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-719-5601. 800-719-5601. That's 800-719-5601.
John and Heidi.
Now, some weird news for you on a Friday. According to officials, a topless woman in Montana is accused of taking a front-end loader bulldozer for a joyride that ended with her crashing into a building across town. Pause right here for a second. What the what? That's a lot going on in this
It's a
story.
crazy afternoon.
Yeah. Great Falls police say 34-year-old Heather Houston drove the vehicle last Sunday in the morning to Fox Hollow Apartments, where she plowed down a fence en route to pick up a shirt from her home. So,
Well, at least she had a destination in mind and
the-
knew what she was doing.
the half-naked woman reportedly used this machinery and the arm to climb up into her upper-level apartment.
Oh, my.
There's one quote from police. Here's the quote. "We can't make this stuff up." End quote. That is seriously Lieutenant Doug Otto said that. Authorities said Houston stole the front end loader Sunday from a business around 6 miles away from her apartment. They arrested her on suspicion of criminal mischief and criminal endangerment. So there you go. It's a bad idea, by the way. Don't steal a bulldozer and drive across town topless. People will notice. I don't know if you realize that. You don't blend in when you're doing that. Bad idea. Makes today's weird news.
John and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh. Before we get to this story, I have to just make sure everybody understands what the game Uno is. Do you remember the game Uno? Card
yeah.
game? It's been a long time
Our
since we
kids
played that.
love Uno.
They have a sequel to it out called Dos, which
Yes,
is kind of
they
cool.
do.
Not a good story, though, today. Bad idea with the game Uno. An Arizona man was arrested because of a game of Uno. Strip Uno. With underage girls.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that's where it gets
Yeah.
bad.
He is arrested on felony sex crimes. 23-year-old Kikin Rodriguez is locked up on a $100,000 bond following his bust last week by the Phoenix police. According to them, they say he has confessed to repeated consensual sexual contact with a 14-year-old girl.
Yikes.
And he was playing strip Uno with a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old girl.
Oh, my gosh.
The 14-year-old had removed all of her clothing by the end of the game, but the other minor, the 12-year-old, won the game and hadn't removed anything. So She's apparently way better at Uno.
So I wonder what the rules are for that.
I don't know.
Do you take off your clothes as you get down to one card in your hand?
I'm not sure.
But or if
you don't shout Uno, I'm not sure what the rules are. We're not going to play, so it doesn't matter. He's in jail because of it. Let's not encourage anyone to play.
I would think that you would take them off the more cards that you get in your hand.
You hold that thought.
Let's play.
We'll be back in a bit. This has been today's Moment of Duh.
John and Heidi.
This time of year, there are many parties, weddings, cookouts, and other events that often include alcohol. If you're drinking, be sure to have a designated driver. If you or someone you know has a problem with drugs or alcohol, there is help. The Addiction Hope and Helpline wants to help. If you feel like it's time to finally get the help you need, there's a toll-free number you can call, 1-800-438-0380. That's the Addiction Hope and Helpline, 1-800-438-0380, 1-800-438-0380.
John and Heidi.
Time now for fake news or Florida. Here's the funny thing. I was just talking to somebody that said they listen to this each day with their kiddos because their kiddos don't go to school in the summer at this time, you know. So, and every time it comes on, their kiddo in the back seat says, fake news or Florida. The same way that I do it. So I didn't realize I was quite the influence on the kids. So now that I know I am, I'll make sure I'm careful. All right, Heidi, tell me, fake news or Florida? A man was arrested after refusing to pay a cab driver who took him home when he was released from jail. Fake news or Florida?
I'm going to say Florida.
It is. True story. We're actually going to have that full story. I think I have it. I don't know where I have it. I have it somewhere else. Oh, maybe it's even here. Anyway, well, yeah, it is. I'll scroll down here. Sometimes I get these stories more than once. We'll do one more. How about this? Fake news or Florida? A dog accidentally put a car in drive and crashed into a liquor store waiting for the owner who left him inside the running vehicle. Fake news or Florida?
I'm going to say Florida. I'm going to say fake news on that one.
That one is fake news. You got it, Heidi. Fake news all the way. Although that probably has happened, and if that has happened in Florida, it was just coincidence because this was fake news. Now let's go back to the story. A Florida man recently released from jail was taken back to jail because he did not pay his $70 taxi ride home. He hailed a cab at 1 a.m., and it took him 30 miles from the Brevard County Jail Complex to a home in Melbourne. The 40-year-old arrived there and said, yeah, I'm not going to pay the fare. And then his sister and her roommate also said, we don't have the money. The driver called the police. He was arrested and taken back to jail on a $2,000 bail. He was previously in jail for criminal mischief and ransacking his own home and damaging his roommate's possessions. So, there you go. Not a good plan. Really bad plan. This has been Fake News or Florida.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with some good news, and I think this is good news. It comes your way courtesy of Odiva. That's the monthly subscription service just for the ladies. All of the details at radiosavings.com. You ready for some good news, Heidi?
I am ready.
All right. Here, I think, is kind of a cool story here. If I can get my... There we go. Maybe. So what this is, think about how much money is spent on fireworks every year. And then one of the issues that happens every year with fireworks is these things get shot up in the air and then all the stuff comes back down. So there were people who were complaining that, hey, we're littering and we're making a big mess, and they weren't thrilled with the fireworks problem. So in order to protect the environment and wildlife, there's a city this year, they swapped out their fireworks show for a drone show. I think that's kind of an interesting idea. Aspen, Colorado is where this happened. They opted to swap out their 4th of July fireworks this last week in favor of a synchronized drone show. It's reusable, Heidi. They can put these things up in the air and reprogram them and reuse them over and over and over and over and over. Their recent drought spurred law enforcement to issue fire warnings and restrictions across the state. So they're like, hey, if we're telling other people they can't use their fireworks, they can't shoot them off, we sure can't go do it, can we? Wouldn't that be in bad taste?
Right.
Instead of endangering animals and wilderness and the land surrounding the city, Aspen hosted a colorful light show with 50 drones synced to a patriotic music. And they did this on the 4th of July. It says, indoor pets won't be in danger of being spooked away from their homes by the loud bangs of fireworks. That's something our dogs are not fans of.
Well, Miley doesn't mind, but Mandy gets really scared.
The show was organized by the Chamber Resort Association. It was at 9:15, so they waited until it was dark out, just like normal. And I've got a link to a video so you can see what this looks like. But it says they had to come up with highlights for the celebration. So they did a drone show. And it's very interesting. It says, if we're having these increased fire dangers and risks every year, then we'd like to have alternatives so people can still end the night on a good note. And the thing that's interesting is when it's all said and done, it looks just like a fireworks show, but I don't know, maybe even better. Because the cool thing is they're reusable. I mean, you can use these for other things, too. So I think it's really neat. I've got a link to the story. And that was listed earlier this week, and it's in our John and Heidi show notes. I put it on for today's show notes, so you'll find it there. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.